Channing, we got to get some insight from you, brother, because I've been talking everybody's heads off tonight, right? So my thing is this, we're going to get into AI here in a bit, but I know even from your research that you covered on your channel, you were referencing some things in regards to ISO TC307, the Quant Network Standard, working groups, for instance, and then the ones that are part of these groups, like even Japan, we talked about the whole thing, like if JASMY wants to scale up even from, where they're going, the next step, they're not even there yet, right? They're trying to get to the whole thing of optimism, but for the future to go to Quant with ISO TEC 307, and then working with the RLN where we can have 1 million TPS and so on, and doing all these crazy things. Quant entered into Japan 1 year ago. I don't know if it's today, but 1 year ago in March. So they have cemented themselves in Japan. They have standards in Japan, and they have ISO working groups. When we show you guys more about this, you will see the connection to AI. You guys want some examples of how Quant reached out, right, Channing? Like done the deals and said,
Absolutely.
hey, guess what? Like, let's help you guys. So our examples that Channing and I are going to share with you guys tonight is having you understand the investor placement report, why you're so bullish on some of these cryptos that we'll get back to here in a second, but also referencing in the past, yes, actual proof, not speculation, that Gilbert Verdian did the handshakes and so on and helped some of these ones that we're going to mention tonight in regards to tied into AI and so on, get the jobs done. Thon, what am I, Mike Tyson, get it done, Thon. Anyway,
yeah.
What do you think about some of this just on the surface?
Yeah, but just touching base on the last bull run type situation, I honestly feel that as well. And the reason why is because we have not just the ISO TC307 going into play, but we have ISO 222 also going into play end of 2025. And it's just coinciding with the quote unquote peak of the next bull run. And like I said, I think in my first video, I feel like everyone's expecting a sell-off and the sell-off is going to happen, but no one's going to be ready for when utility and motion kick in. And we're now, 6 months into what we think might be the bear market when the true utility bull run actually kicks in. So it's a lot going on in that whole arena of timelines and utility and all of that stuff. And it just seems like it's all lining up perfectly.
Yeah, and guys, we're going to give you examples of how it's basically lining up. Are you cool if I just jump into some of that stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we're going to do, guys, to show you a little bit more in regards to the investor place report. Okay. We're going to share what's going on with Ocean Protocol if you're interested in some of this stuff. I'm not personally invested into Ocean Protocol, but I do recognize that's solid. There's some, competition of JASMY, but this is a different use case. But this is tied into AI. Okay. I'm not going to do a deep dive with you guys on this one. I have in the past, a long time ago. And then the other one I want to share with you guys is this other particular one, and we're talking about, which is Fetch. Okay. So why am I mentioning all of these particular things? All right. That's the bottom line. Well, you got to keep in mind that, it's the reference to all these key things. So here we go. Let's just kind of, start off with this. And it starts off with this right here. This is from Tony McLaughlin. Remember how I mentioned, guys, every action has a reaction.
Absolutely.
He states here, Hong Kong embraces a unified ledger concept. It's a South China Morning Post exclusive. CBDC pilot boosts Hong Kong's blockchain international hub credentials. Now, you may be wondering, how do we tie this all into the outline tonight? How we tie this into even Quant? Remember this part if you're paying attention. Whether you're driving down the road, whether you're like Boomer effing Sooner watching from his couch with his lovely dog, Monica, shout to Boomer, or whoever you are, watching on your phone, listening, whatever the case be. Don't forget this part, because I wouldn't mention this and not have it come full circle, okay? Hong Kong. Why am I mentioning Hong Kong if I'm talking about QNT? And if anything, why did I mention it in regards to JASMY? Well, JASMY is your answer. So as we know, the second big moment for JASMY was Hong Kong. Action, reaction. And the report showed that they were going gangbusters with Japanese investments, semiconductors, did the whole outline in regards to JASMY and, talking about like, wow, Tadashi Morita, CMOS image sensors, Internet of Things. But we're talking about Quant at this particular point, are we not? And again, understanding Hong Kong and how they're positioned. Getting more into this, I'm going to share this part, and that is this. Gilbert Verdian back in 2019. You maybe think this is not new. It's important. Check this out. Coming out of the frame. I know some of you guys are like, this is his inbox. What the hell? Right? That's what Shane was saying earlier.
His actual inbox, Gilbert Verdians. That's
Right.
crazy.
But this is not to me, guys. Shout out to Quant Papa. But it says, we've spoken to a lot of AI companies who need access to data sets to improve the accuracy of their algorithms and machine learning. Some, like, for instance, Ocean Protocol. Aha, I see what Max did here. Quant Papa. Thank you, Quant Papa. I don't know if he's up late watching tonight. I know he's busy doing some other things, but yes, aha. Gilbert, back in 2019, some like Ocean or Fetch are tokenizing data to monetize learning or data. Our view is that we can interconnect vast data economies to help facilitate access to much more data for AI to be even more accurate. Gilbert Verdian referencing Fetch, referencing Ocean Protocol back then. And now you have the Investor Place report that does what? They do what? They, boom, right here, today's news. Let's put emphasis on this. What's it say? Yeah. It talks about how Fetch AI announced a $100 million project to enhance the network's capabilities. And Quant already allowed that somehow. They did a deal a while back for what? Interoperability and so on. Look at this. The Fetch Compute project, which will be funded by the Fetch Ecosystem Fund, will provide users and developers access to NVIDIA H200. Shout out to Menelagwar. Menelagwar pointed out that there's a NVIDIA event, guys, going on next week. Again, guys, action, reaction, supply, and demand. Listen to this for a second. This is big. So NVIDIA H200, H100, and A100 GPUs to make and use powerful AI applications. Interesting. When we think about, for instance, Quant, everything that they're connected to in regards to APIs is an absolutely massive, huge thing, is it not? I want to take a pause here before we get into the next part because we got a lot. I have to hear about what Channing thinks about some of this because Channing, you and I talked about this on the phone. We said, and I don't get ahead of myself, but I was telling you about conversation. I don't even know if this guy's in attendance tonight. But I said, my friend, part of our community, just like yourself, he calls me up on the phone, Jack Thompson. He says, Max, I'm frustrated. I'm trying to get this particular meme token, for instance, and I don't want to buy the wrong one. I don't want to get scammed. Why in the world would somebody like Coinbase allow for all these fake tokens that are not the real thing? Right. Remember how we talked about it? And I said, believe it or not, with Quant's new product called, remember, authorized, they solved that problem. Remember us talking about that? I was just trying to get some of your thoughts in regards to even that aspect of it. Like nobody really talks about that either.
I feel like what Quant has done with Overledger, I actually said in one of my videos, they've come out with a suite of products that tackle each individual part of how a blockchain could potentially be vulnerable. So like authorized and how that goes through and it does even the smart audit that they have that'll go through and audit your system and all those things. It literally, they basically were like, hey, if you have this problem, here's the solution. You have this problem, here's the solution. You have this problem, here's the solution. Overledger, we do it all. And I think it was brilliant because another company would have probably just focused on one of those aspects when they focused on the whole gambit, which is crazy. And not just focused on it, but executed it seamlessly, was even more crazy.
Quant authorized. Now, we mentioned some of these updates, and sometimes it just goes over people's heads. So with Quant authorized, imagine being able to solve a problem that exists for Coinbase, Binance, because Binance obviously has a trust wallet. There's Pancake Swap and stuff like that built into the particular wallet. That's a DApp built into the app. All right. So if you have somebody like your Jack Thompsons of the world, who's like, look, I just want to buy baby Doge, and there's another baby Doge. I don't know which one I'm buying. For one, all you have to do is just go to CMC and you grab the token contract, and then you just manually paste it into, for example, your Pancake Swap, or if you're using Ethereum, it would be basically like through Uniswap, right? And you paste it in there. You verify the first 4 digits. The last 4 digits matches up. It don't matter what the picture is. You have the right one.
Absolutely.
But as far as like a new person coming into crypto for the first time,
you wouldn't know how to do that.
Right. And they're going to say, the hell with this. This is too scary for me. I'm not wanting to do that. Quant solves that problem through authorized, among many other problems. I mean, let's face it, Quant's focus is not retail.
Exactly.
It's on institutional side. Institutions have the same problem. Go ahead.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say, and it's actually backed up by governmental protection. That's going to be the thing that gets everybody's attention in every country to know, whoa, this system, and it's actually backed by the government, meaning it's protected and safe, and I can do this without losing money. Oh yeah, I'm all in. Give me a digital wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the other example I was going to make is, sorry about the rattling. It's just trying to close the lid of the water. But I want everybody to understand that, like, for example, Jack made the point, and this is a good point. He says, this is so frustrating, like, how can I introduce, for instance, not these exact words, Jack, if you're watching tonight, but, this is a good example. Like, how can I introduce crypto to somebody for the first time if we're, like, there's a lack of trust there. Remember how Gilbert Verdian was talking about the internet trust? So my example I want to try to make here is authorized is a new product from Quant, right? Quant is so much more than just APIs and, the whole thing of interoperability, 100 plus blockchains, and, all this stuff, right? All that stuff is tip of the iceberg, right? Like, Quant is literally the plumbing of Web3. And what I mean by that is when you hear about the authorized product, the new product. So Coinbase, people have a frustration of, oh my gosh, I go on CMC and there's 2 million plus cryptos. Like I was telling Jack, he thought it was 10,000. It's like 2.2 million cryptos. Most of them are ERC20. Most of them are meme tokens, right? And so you have to look at it from the perspective, how can you have, even on a Coinbase wallet, which I'm not a fan of, I think it's garbage personally. It's wonky. It ticks me off. I'm not a big fan of Coinbase, right? Shout out to Edward Vincent. And a lot of other people have frustration. But the point is, you ever notice when we go on our app on our phone for Coinbase, we open that thing up, and basically speaking, it's like there's an update. Why is there a particular update? It's more than just user interface. Here's where I'm going with this. I know it's a lot to explain. So instead of having to manually go in and pasting a contract to the likes of your Coinbase wallet, or going to Uniswap, or Binance, Trust Wallet, Pancake Swap, all that stuff to verify if you have the right coin. Can you imagine with Quant Authorized with a smart audit tool? It solves that problem for everything, because that is a problem. Because think about this for a second. We talked about this, right, Channing? And that is 2.2 million tokens or coins and tokens listed on CMC. I don't care if you have a team at Coinbase of 20, 100 focused on specifically the user interface, right? That is an API problem, is it not? Yeah. So you have with authorized something that solves that problem. That's just Coinbase. Well, then what about your Binances? What if this existed on crypto.com or whatever exchange, right? It's a huge problem. That is just one utility layer, right? So that's why we wanted to point some of that out. And Shannon, I mean, you can see yourself, like, I mean, how much is that worth? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's almost like, actually, I haven't, is it this next, it's my next video. It's my next video. Talk about quantum homeland security. Did this make sense? It's just that further securing, making people feel this is safe. You won't lose anything, because that's most people's fear. Either they're going to get scammed or lose it all.
Yeah. So remember how Gilbert Verdian also mentioned, guys, like we talked about tonight in regards to Ocean Protocol? Well, look at this. Here's a new recent report because we're talking about AI and all that. Let me come out of the frame, put some emphasis on this as well. Ocean Protocol is harnessing the transformative power of AI to orchestrate a secure and transparent data sharing ecosystem. Again, this is where, you could kind of look at them as like a competitor to JASMY. But I'm not a maxi on anything, right? If I'm in XRP, I'm into XLM. By connecting data providers with consumers using blockchain AI, Ocean enables data providers to break free from traditional constraints, monetize their data. Right. Jasmy's doing a lot of that too. Ocean Protocol at its core is engineered to break down data silos. Again, think about these references. Gilbert Verdian talks about that all the time. Walled gardens, silos. Unlock data for AI applications. Now, this part about AI applications and understanding that Quant, with what they got going on with AI and AI or API applications and you name it, that's big. Says that it uses blockchain tech to ensure data security, provenance, traceability, allowing data owners to maintain control over their data or providing a marketplace for consumers to access data sets they might not otherwise have. Now, you got to keep in mind, some people say JASMY will never work with Ocean Protocol. That could be furthermore from the truth because you could still have a marketplace that requires what? A PDL, right? So they definitely can work together. Introducing tokenization model for data assets, Ocean Protocol has redefined economics for data. Data providers can now monetize their valuable data while maintaining privacy. Again, Jasmy's trying to do that. I know this is not the Jasmy segment, but again, tying in what Gilbert mentioned, data consumers are granted equitable and open access to the data they require. This democratization of data is a pivotal step in leveling the playing field, allowing for a more inclusive data economy. A little bit more about this from Investor Place. This is good, especially if you're into Ocean Protocol and especially QNT, realizing, wow, they actually got a deal done many years ago for Ocean. Yeah, we're going to get to that. So, ingenuity of Ocean Protocol's smart contract lies in its ability to facilitate direct data sharing, eliminating the need for middlemen. Remember how we talk about what Quant eliminates a middleman? Look at this. This not only fosters for a climate of transparency and trust among stakeholders, but also streamlines the process, making it more efficient and user friendly. There's a strategic collaboration. Ocean, Oasis, which is Rose, if you're wanting to get into that as well. They have both joined forces to enhance Ocean Predictor, an AI-driven platform for prediction feeds. That is game changer in itself because this tells you where we're going to the future with AI. Since its launch, listen to this, Ocean Predictor witnessed exponential growth, reaching 20 million in daily volume, emerging as the flagship application on Oasis's confidential Sapphire chain, fostered synergetic relationship with the teams. They have exchanged 250,000 worth of respective tokens, aligning their incentives and demonstrating a shared commitment to the project's success. Furthermore, a combined contribution of 500,000 has been injected as liquidity into a DEX. That's powerful. Where? Sapphire Chain. And that's pretty darn interesting because when you see these whole things about interchangeability, interoperability, working with all this thing with AI, and Quant, for instance, tied into this. I thought that was big. Of course, the reference that we mentioned in regards to Fetch, AI-driven entities. But the key thing for all you guys, is this. All this stuff tied into AI, Quant, all of this. Why do we even get into it? Does it even matter? Is it just a big nothing burger? I don't think so. And here is the reference to Fetch. All right, it didn't take a long time to get into Fetch, but other than talking about NVIDIA. But this is from Gilbert Verdian. And then, got to get Channing to chime in. So I apologize. It seemed like I'm dominating the conversation. I'm not trying to. Do we have some proof?
I said, go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. You always, anybody's connected tonight, you want proof. Who doesn't want proof? And I just saw it. We ticked up to 301. Obviously, people want to pay attention to this. You guys rock. It's very humbling to see this consistently.
I mean, it's
instead of
coming.
just once
It's
in a while.
coming. is coming from the man himself. It's Gilbert freaking Burdian. That's crazy.
Yeah, and this is what I love. I mean, this pounds home the whole notion of this narrative, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because sometimes we say narrative is like, there's mainstream narrative, there's media narrative, there's all sorts of narratives. But this is a good positive narrative, and that is what happens. Is there really going to be a final bull run? What are we invested in? What is it tied into? And how about this, guys? Can we agree on this, Channing? Can we agree on this, brother? Who is the backdoor plumbing in regards to it all? All roads
They're
lead to Quant.
all roads lead to Quant, and they're not just the plumbing. They're everything. They're the foundation that the house lays on. They're the sidewalk that the building was built up on top of. The reach this company has pulled off around the world in so many different sectors. And we just talk about these things, but it's also law. It's also the medical industry. It's healthcare. Like it's crazy what this company's pulled off. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got some more in regards to that. So look at this for a second, guys. I'm gonna come out of the frame on this. So back to this whole thing. August 14th, 2018. Thanks. We'll look into it. The thing at AI or that AI needs is more data. Blockchain provides a way for AI to access more data and be rewarded for it, says Gilbert Verdian. He says, I like Fetch AI and the ecosystem around that. When we get into, the performance of like Fetch AI, if you're wondering about that, I might have a little bit more about Fetch AI, so we'll get into that. Look at this. And I understand that even on the fly, this might have, be different numbers, right? But, up 584.38% all time, right? How many projects are way down all time? All right. So that's worth pointing out. This has been out for a while. You have a market cap, give or take, right? It's fluctuated, 2.3 billion. It's in the top 50 now. So again, it's the enablers. When we talk about things like Quant allowing things like Fetch AI to have some big things going on, I think that's always worth pointing out. And let's just jump back to this for a second. Yeah, this is about Fetch, so I didn't have a chance to get into this completely. And I know I said that I wouldn't get into it too much, but it deserves a mention. Talk about AI driven entities, logistics, supply chain management. So when I see this already, you know how we talk about XDC a lot? When I see this, I'm thinking this is like, to a sense, like an AI version of XDC. Not to say that XDC ain't going to do anything with AI, but guys, there's how many tokens, coins are we involved with right now? Some of you guys are into all of them. Morpheus network, XDC, talk about VeChain. Should we pay attention to Fetch? Maybe we should. Look at this. In these sectors, Fetch AI's technology shines, offering transformative solutions, promise streamline operations, slash costs, elevate efficiency to new heights. The agents are meticulously engineered to automate tasks and refine decision-making processes, ensuring that the delivery and management of goods and services are executed with precision and agility. Wow. I mean, isn't that the whole point of what all these ones tied into supply chain are looking to do? Yeah. There's more about this. They have strategic partnerships. Fetch AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with blockchain-powered AI solutions. They have a collaboration to unleash AI agents, and they're anonymous, capable of tasks as diverse as, for example, dissecting traffic patterns, meticulously managing resources. See what you want. JASMY's doing that too. And what is also JASMY doing? AI blockchain. Do you see a common thing that we're talking about here? It's the future. It's recognizing what's going to happen in regards to Web3. How about this? Paradigm shift on how we perceive and interact with artificial intelligence, the industries that are involved with them, the tech. If you're wondering what Fetch AI stands to do, they are the epitome, like it says, of innovation in the AI domain, championing the concept of agents as the next revolutionary leap in AI. It's industry giants like OpenAI, which, let's face it, we should be familiar with that, Chat GPT and so on, venture into the realm of AI agent solutions. Fetch AI's decentralized approach is poised to revolutionize business and individuals' engagement with AI. This is not just another cryptocurrency. This is Fetch AI, the right cryptocurrency at the right time, ready to usher in a new era of decentralized intelligence. Now, I am going to pull this up. And the reason why I want to pull this up for you guys is everybody's wondering, are you too late to come into some of these things? And of course, I'm not paid by them. That'd be amazing if I was. But my thing is, I want to pull up this thing of Fetch AI and share just a tad bit about this with you guys, because I do think it's definitely worth pointing out. Here it is. Let's talk about this for a brief bit. I know I'm out of the frame, but I want to point out just a few basic things. So for one, market cap is only at 2.2 billion. They were at number 50. You kind of have a pullback. Volume's down a little bit. And you do have some things in regards to total supply. You're looking at 1.15 billion on that total supply. And on top of that, I guess they do have a contract with Ethereum. The all-time lows 4 years ago, right before, I guess you could say the last bull run, and the all-time highs. Look at this, guys. The all-time high. This is what happened. This is why it's down 15%. People took profits. There's your answer. All-time highs were 4 days ago, $3.12. So yeah, some people point out, well, I didn't get into that back in 2020, but the whole thing I'm trying to share with you is who decided to recognize them, or who did they reach out to? They reached out to Quant back in 2019, maybe when they were trying to build a little bit more. Action, reaction. Your thoughts?
And 2019, just piggybacking off of that, was also the partnership with Constellation DAG, which is also big data.
Great point. A lot of us are into Constellation DAG. I don't hold DAG, but I've done research in regards to DAG. A lot of members of our community hold that. Very good point, Shannon. So gonna jump back just to a tad bit more of this. That was obviously Fetch. You guys can research it more if you're interested in Fetch. I got, guys, I understand we're gonna do a super deep dive on Fetch, kind of give you a little bit what's on the surface. But if you're interested in this, understand the bigger picture of things, you can get this on a few different markets. Binance, Coinbase, your mainstream ones, KuCoin if you're outside the United States, right? There's Kraken. Heck, you could
It's
even
on
use
as well.
Yeah, very cool. Uniswap V3. Watch out when they do a V4 because you'll save 99% on gas fees. Gemini, I didn't realize that. Osmosis, some of you guys use Osmosis. Okay, cool. Chang's right. Crypto.com. So there's many different platforms. It goes for like 15 pages or more. So they're well positioned. Again, if you're then hovering around the top 50, that should be big. What is the potential from here? I don't know. I honestly don't know what it would be. I don't know if it'd be 10x, 100x. Some people point out some of those things, and that's obviously worth pointing out. Don't get me wrong, but it's recognizing action, reaction, where the markets are going, who's invested in this markets, who did they have the handshakes with many years ago? Obviously, Quant. But that's the key takeaway for tonight, guys, is Quant. We want examples of who they helped build some of the things that they did many years ago.
Who do they have their eye on for the future of XYZ?
Exactly. So, it's nice to get some of the research. Obviously, thank you to Quant Papa providing some of this. I think is big. And understanding, wow, a lot of times it's just NDAs. We don't get a lot of the information in due process time that, like we hope for. So for now, what we're going to do is pause there, okay? And basically speaking, get into, the next part. So the next part we have is to do the deep dive research in regards to some of these things like Six Digital Exchange, what you saw in the thumbnail. Obviously, Channing did some research. You got, it's not just me talking. I know it seems like I'm dominating. I'm sorry. But
No,
recognizing it's challenging sometimes to have a balance, right?
No, you good. Because
Yeah.
I'm learning as well. So we are here. Like, I'm good. Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, it's all good. What we're going to do now is going to jump into comments. And guys who are on X, I know we have 343 people here tonight, and you guys rock. But if you really want to mingle with the OG, Maximus crypto community, you got to come over on YouTube, because like instantly questions, answers. You can rub elbows with the one and only Tim Shea, who sprays from far away, or Mike Cornwell, Elon Muff, and you're like, what? Elon Muff? Did I hear that right? Yes, you heard that right. Right? It's not a rock band. We have a lot of great members of our community. Edward Vincent, Boomer Effin Sooner. I mean, it's good stuff, right? We got Dennis Leal. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people from our community, and you guys rock. So anyway, 60 on YouTube, 289 on X. Let's go ahead and click on the comments from YouTube, because it doesn't show me on X unless I click on your comment here. So it's kind of a funky thing. But it is what it is.
Before you get started, I do want to thank everyone. I do see both on X and YouTube a few more subscribers. So thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate that.
That's another thing I love about you, Channing. You're a very humble person. And you're grateful for stuff. I mean, we all count our blessings, man. I remember having to start out from the beginning. Everybody had to start somewhere. So, but I love that your enthusiasm, and knowing that, I mean, guys, give Channing credit. Like, he does a better job engaging the camera than I do. And as we get more into it, when we do the actual segment of Channing and I for the real deep dive quant coverage for tonight, I won't be looking at the camera so much. I'll be looking at his screen, because I want to have a nice, conversation. You guys will appreciate with the flow. Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your significant other, you can get two of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this, and I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent wallet is not having to do the red tape of jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out though if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use for the most part. There's still some on ledger that I kind of split it up on it and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one I use.